So while you're
Okay.
getting it open, at like the top, it just says at the end of your meeting, take time to give a summary, your votes, and final decisions/thoughts. You'll need to provide a timestamp in addition to your link so the instructor will know the summary begins. So
Fairly basic. Jim Sharp. That's right. And he's just, I like this guy. His dream is just to own a business.
one second, my charger seems to not be charging.
Yeah, mine's not either, actually.
Or apparently this outlet isn't working.
Ah.
Okay, now I'm charging. Okay, so the first question is assess this venture from Jim Sharp's perspective.
Okay. Broad question.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, he kind of walks you through it. When he talks about like the terms as far as like how the guy wanted a lot of legal protection and basically he couldn't like do anything faster than the previous owner was paid back, and like there were some ridiculous terms, like he had to pay health insurance for 5 years for not just him but like his family and his parents. Like that was crazy. And
Yeah, some very strange terms.
yeah, there were just like super bizarre terms that I was like, he must like Sharp must have really wanted this business if he was willing to agree to so many things. And like he's got his house on the line for it too. Like, I mean,
Yeah, he really went into depth. But he knew exactly what he was shopping, what he wanted. He had
yeah.
a proximity, and then he wanted a manufacturing business that had decent margins, but that was struggling. And so
Mhm.
it makes sense because then that puts it in his price range. But then also it's kind of scary because he's doing all this stuff. He's putting everything on the line, agreeing to these weird terms, putting up with all this guy's weird requests, and then it's for a business that's like not doing well.
Well, and not only that, like he doesn't get to talk to customers, doesn't get to talk to vendors, doesn't get to talk to employees. There's a terrible union situation, and they've gone on strike every year. Like I I wonder, like, I mean, it wasn't like he was coming close to that time frame where he was like, okay, I have this many months and then I need to start looking for a job again. So like it wasn't like it was like a time crunch. So I wonder what made him go along with all these ridiculous terms, and he didn't even get like a culture fill. And like it says it all right there, like the employees had no idea that the owner was leaving. Like
I
that's
know.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that is crazy. And yeah, I agree with you. The union thing is a bigger deal than he thought it was. I think he kind of,
Yeah.
it talked about unions, and the businesses that he ran before, like, never were unionized, but they felt that they ran it in such a way that they
Mm-hmm.
they would please unions. So he just kind of like wrote that off. Yeah, we'll run it in
Yeah,
such a
because
way
like
people will be happy.
yeah, exactly. And like over actually where he worked in West Virginia, my dad worked. And so like the coal miners are union. And so you end up having to like companies that aren't unionized end up having to operate in almost a union like state because they that's the way everything else functions. You know, those towns were built around the miners, so everything functions the way the coal miners function. Like
Yeah,
super bizarre. Yeah.
it is
So then
interesting. So
number two,
I think it looks rough, it looks scary, but that's kind of what he was looking for.
he
So
was like mentally prepped for it,
yeah.
kind of. How was Jim Sharp purchased? how has Gymsharp purchased this venture? What are the implications of this financial structure? That he's screwed if it doesn't succeed? I mean,
Highly leveraged.
like, he had to do all sorts of financing for it. He had to put his house up against it. And should anything bad happen, he's going to lose everything.
Totally. I thought it was interesting too, like the way it described how people can get out of a leveraged buyout by declaring bankruptcy. I'd never heard of that scheme.
I didn't either. And apparently it was like super. I went and Googled it. Because it said that like that was the thing. And in the late 80s, that's what was happening. Like, how weird is that? I don't know. Bizarre.
So yeah, that makes it understandable why the previous owner was so crazy.
Yeah.
Anal about it. But yeah, I agree. Very leveraged, and he was putting a lot at stake.
What should Gymsharp do on his first day as owner of Excursion Technology? Just reading like everything that he told us, like, where do you start?
Yeah, seriously. I think he should just jump in and just start trying to get involved, and until he can see something specific, like, because you can't just know. I mean, it seems like he has experience turning these things around, and he just needs to like he talked about in the one company having to sign all the expenses. He could start doing that, just stuff to like start learning what happens day to day.
Well, and I think probably on the first day, because like they shut everything down that day. So if I were him, I'd probably spend the first day getting to know everyone as much as I could, because that's going to give you a feel for who's disgruntled and what are they disgruntled about. Because having an owner's change is different than having a manager change, but a lot of what happens after with like the people is the same. Because I remember when we had like a huge manager switch, and it was like a big deal because we took a manager that had been for our store for like 10 years and got a new manager.
Yeah.
And there was like half the store was so excited because they were sick of like the old manager, and the other half had worked for the old manager for 5, 6, 7 years. And so they were like, hold on, this isn't okay. Like, what does this do to X, Y, and Z? So everyone granted, our store didn't shut down for a day, but over the next like 3 or 4 months, everybody was in our new manager's office. Like, this is how I feel about like this. This is what needs changed here. This is what I'm not happy about here. I expect this to stay the same. Everybody had something to say, and obviously you can't please everybody, but it would give him like a good starting point of like, this is the biggest issue, or this is what workers are most disgruntled about, and this is what's working well,
Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably have a lot of that process. Hopefully he stays accessible enough to where he can even get to that. I mean, it's not a very fun process, but it's better than just having everyone shut you out and you don't learn.
Oh, absolutely. So then number 4, right? Yeah. What should his action plan be for the next 6 months, the next 12 months? What should his priorities be? Well, we kind of started to talk about this. Like, he's going to need to get to know the employees. He's going to need, like you mentioned in the company, where he like signed everything. I think that is particularly going to be important, where he literally has no concept of what's going where here. And the previous owner and his dad would just take money out of the company.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I agree. I think we covered it pretty well. I'm just quickly looking at the financials, and honestly, the income statement doesn't look that bad for the industry. I mean, it's low margin. Their net income is negative most of the time, but EBIT, which I bet they care more about, is, I don't know. It should be positive more than half the time, which it looks like it's not quite. But their revenue growth looks okay. But their balance sheet looks their stockholders' equity is like negative. A lot of debt. So I would say start to get out of debt and improve margins.
Well, and I think that starts with like signing, going through and like he talked about, okay, why do we have 6 box manufacturers at the other one? Sure, I bet you with a guy like the guy before that they probably have 4 manufacturers for the same thing or 4 suppliers for the same thing. So going through and finding the best price. And as a new owner, the benefit is you can, if you fire vendors, I mean, it's not a huge, like, you don't have to worry about the relationship that was there with the previous owner and that vendor. Like,
totally.
So.
Yeah. And you can have them, just compete for your business all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Start that all fresh, and you have a good reason to.
Did Jim make the right acquisition?
It's tough because we don't understand what the other options were. Sounds like he didn't really have other available options.
I mean, that is, I don't even know. I mean, like, experience-wise, if he's just looking at, like, does he have the experience for it? He has the experience for it. I mean, he talked about, he went through and all the lessons he learned and all the jobs that he had. It did prepare him. He might not be fully understanding of the union aspect, but experience-wise, he probably, made the right decision in order to, like, run a company, but financially, I don't know if it's the right acquisition.
Yeah. It seems very dicey, but I think it's great. I think, why not? It's truly like it seems like it's his passion in life to take these bumps and do it. So if that's what he's looking for, he found it.
And he went in like, he didn't have rose-colored glasses on when he went in. Like he knew that he was going in for a company that was going to be in trouble because that would be the only way he could afford it. So, I mean, for him and what he wants to achieve, it probably is the right acquisition.
Yeah, I agree. It suits him. It would scare the heck out of me.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, nope. Way too much risk involved for me. Way too much.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, so then we just want to mark this spot as like our summary / voting decision. Did he make the right acquisition? I vote yes.
I will vote yes as well. Yeah, I'll mark that whole last discussion part. Well, that was nice and quick. So
I know, it was super fast.
So Friday we'll do 2 again?
Your time too? 1 o'clock my time?
Oh, yeah. I mean 2 case studies again.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I thought you meant like 2 o'clock for meeting time. And I'm like, that's 1 my time, right?
Yeah, no, that's how I said it.
Yeah, 2 case studies, definitely. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Good luck at your appointment.
Friday. Thanks. Bye.